Hey YouTube friends, listen, today I'm going to show you how to build this farm table for about $100. When my wife asked if I could build her a farm table, I said sure. Now, I was pretty far into this project before I actually decided to make a YouTube video. So when you see the video, you'll see that we're kind of advanced already in the process, but I'll go backwards a little bit and go kind of step by step so you too could build this simple table. Farm tables are really popular nowadays. Again, there is literally just pine. So what I got here, I used number 2 pine. This is what you can get at the orange store or any of the big box stores. So number 2 pine is what most of the top is. And then what I did is we went with select pine for the trim around the border, around the outside of it. This is 2.5 inch material, so it makes the table look a little bit more massive than it is. Using just 1 by pine makes it light enough so that you can carry it around. I wanted to show you a little bit of detail of what I chose for the legs. You see the legs are hollow. What I was able to do, I'll go over on my table saw here, and I was able to bevel the sides of 1 by 4 and then put them together to make a 4 by 4. I put a little block here of plywood actually on the inside here because this is what I use to secure another big piece of plywood around here for the to be able to secure the legs to the bottom of the table. Now, if you don't have the advantage of having a decent table saw to be able to do those miters, you can use 4x4s, a 4x4 post. A table height, a normal table height is about 30 inches tall to the top. So I believe that my legs on it are about 28 and a half, somewhere around that. So again, if you're gonna use a 4x4 post, you're gonna need at least 2 8-footers, or decide maybe 1 12-footer and you can cut it up. I want to give you a quick overview of the bottom here. I got some 1x2 cleats in the body of the table to just kind of hold the 3 independent 1x12s a little bit more level. And then on the end here, where that 1x6 is on the end of my table, I got a 1x8 that actually spans it. I brought it off of the end of the room, the end of the table a little bit. So the seam is kind of like right down the middle here of this 1x8. And so I got security on both sides. So that's what keeps that end piece flat with the rest of the table, and it'll be supported. You see what I did here? I got 3/4 inch plywood that I put on the tops of my legs, and then it's just secured in with 4 drywall screws, so I can remove them real easy when we need to transport or move the table. I mentioned I was kind of pretty far into this project before I decided to actually start filming this. So you can see I got all the legs on here. I got my 1 side trim boards on, and I'll show you how to cut this miter in here. And so you can see I have a piece of plywood at the top of the legs, and then another filler piece in there, and then the 3/4 inch of the thickness of the table itself. You see the design that I chose for this one is that I have a cross member of 1x6 on the ends. I got 1x4, then 1x12 times 3, another 1x4, and then of course our trim board on that side. So our table itself is about 42 inches wide, and it's a little over 6 foot, 7 foot almost long. Okay, the trick to get this miter perfect for your piece, you see I'm lining up. I've turned it back so that I got point to point on this side. Now I'm going to go to the other side of my table and mark a line right here where it meets the other mark and come backwards, cut it on our miter box, and I'm sure this piece will fit perfect. Okay, I got my point over on the left side over here, exactly. So like I said, right on the outside, and mark it backwards because we're going to be turning this piece over when we actually install it. All right, I cut the piece over on the miter box here. Let's see how we did. Miters look great. Now all we got to do is just tack it on there. I got a pneumatic gun here. You can use just regular hammer and nails if you're not available, have the availability of using an actual nail gun. The nature of a farm table, because it's different components, different size woods and everything, they're not necessarily going to be exactly flush. I got this pretty good. I'm okay with that. I'm not pleased with this ridge right here. So I'm going to take a belt sander. I'm going to take that down. We'll do a palm sander on the rest of the whole table. Get a nice thing, get it all ready for finish. One more thing I'd like to suggest is that you pick up some of this plastic wood. Now this isn't the filler that you would use for a drywall. This is plastic wood that literally comes out as a pink product. You put it in the nail holes and then it will dry as a finish, like a natural finish. So it'll also take a stain. Right, with our end pieces on now we can actually use this material to fill the holes. You know, it's just a little bit. I'm just putting a little bit in the nail holes. That will dry natural. I'll be able to sand the whole thing. Of course, all these corners will be hit by a belt sander and just a regular palm sander. We'll get all the things done. Here, actually, here's what it will dry like. I did this yesterday when I filled the holes that were in the legs. Okay, now that I got my table upside down here, it's easier to do the legs. Got a little palm sander here. I'm just gonna hit the edges here, any of the nail pops, and I got 100 grit on this right now. If I rough it up a little bit, maybe I'll go to 150 to smooth it out. All right, I went around the table. I got all 4 of the legs. I think that's nice and smooth, and actually that's the finish I'm going to keep. I don't need it any smoother than that. Remember, this is a farm table. You know, the farmers actually built this for practicality use. We're doing it now, you know, because it's a trend and it looks great. I'm going to use these felt pads here for the bottom of each of the 4x4 posts because then it won't mar up our floor. But I'm not going to put that on until I actually have my stain and my finish done. We're going to actually be using Varathane brand wood stain. I don't get any royalties or anything from Varathane. It's just was something we picked up. We like the color. We're going to go with a little bit darker color because again, it'll blend with the rest of our home. You could do 2 things if you like. You could paint the legs if you like and then stain the rest of it. You could actually clear coat the whole thing if you wanted just a nice and bright pine look. So that is up to you.